Hello, I'm Dr. Nancy, a wellness educator for people who want to feel strong, clear-minded, and confident in their bodies after 60. Today, we're going to talk about a habit that is simple, affordable, and surprisingly powerful when you do it with intention. Eating 2 eggs a day. I'll show you what tends to happen in your body when you make this part of your routine, how to do it in a way that supports longevity, and what to watch for if you have specific health considerations. No hype, no extremes, just practical science explained in human language so you can decide if this is right for you. For decades, many of us were told that whole eggs were a problem because of cholesterol. The myth sounded logical. Eggs contain cholesterol, cholesterol is bad, therefore eggs are bad. Real physiology is more nuanced. Your body makes cholesterol on its own because it needs it for hormones, vitamin D, and the membranes of every cell. For most older adults, dietary cholesterol has a smaller effect on blood cholesterol than saturated fat patterns, overall diet quality, genetics, and daily movement. That doesn't mean eggs are perfect for everyone. It means context matters. When you learn the context and apply it calmly, you can capture the benefits that 2 eggs bring without ignoring the caveats that deserve attention. Let's start with what 2 eggs actually give you. You're getting around 12 grams of complete protein with an unusually rich mix of essential amino acids, including leucine, which is the ignition key for muscle protein synthesis. You're getting choline, a nutrient most adults underconsume, which helps your liver process fats and supports acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter involved in memory and attention. You're getting lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 carotenoids that accumulate in the macula of the eye and support visual function as the years add up. You're getting vitamin B12 for nerve health and energy metabolism, selenium as an antioxidant partner, a little vitamin D if the hens were fed D, and iodine if the feed or region supports it. And you're getting all of this in a package that pairs well with real food patterns you can sustain on a normal budget. Now let's talk through what tends to happen in your body when you eat 2 eggs a day after 60, one benefit at a time, without repeating ourselves. You support muscle preservation, which is the foundation of vitality in the 7th decade and beyond. After 60, it's common to lose muscle mass and strength unless you intentionally feed and use your muscles. 2 eggs contribute a leucine-rich signal that tells your body to repair and build. That signal lands best when you also perform simple resistance work, even bodyweight movements. Think of eggs as the brick and the amino acid signal as the foreman. The brick is necessary, but the foreman tells the crew to start building. Over weeks and months, this shows up as easier chair stands, more stable steps on stairs, and better balance when you turn in the kitchen. You won't feel like a 20-year-old. You'll feel competent, and competence is confidence. You likely experience steadier energy and fewer mid-morning crashes. 2 eggs are low in carbohydrates, high in protein, and satisfying. That combination slows gastric emptying and stabilizes post-meal blood sugar. If your mornings used to start with a sweet cereal or a white flour pastry, the swap to eggs changes your hormonal conversation. Insulin spikes flatten. Ghrelin, your hunger signal, quiets. You stay focused longer, which improves the small but meaningful decisions that shape your day, like taking a short walk before lunch rather than collapsing into a chair. Your brain gets more choline, and that matters for memory, attention, and mood stability. Choline forms acetylcholine, which helps brain cells communicate and contributes to phospholipids that stabilize cell membranes. Many people over 60 unintentionally eat low choline diets. 2 eggs a day move you toward adequacy without dependence on supplements. Over time, people often describe a subtle but consistent clarity, less fog in the late morning, easier word recall when chatting, and a calmer, steadier mood. That clarity isn't dramatic, it's dependable, and dependability is what healthy aging feels like. Your eyes receive regular support from lutein and zeaxanthin. These pigments concentrate in retinal tissue where they help filter blue light and support visual processing. The form found in egg yolks is highly bioavailable because it rides in with natural fats. As you age, small advantages compound. Less eye strain by evening, more comfort when reading, and confidence when driving at dusk. You won't notice this in a week. You will notice it across seasons. Your liver appreciates the nutrient combination. Choline helps package and export fat from the liver, while the balanced protein supports the enzymes that process everything you eat. Many older adults drift into patterns where the liver is asked to do too much with too little raw material. 2 eggs won't rescue a poor diet, but in a balanced plate, they help your internal chemistry find a calmer rhythm. Your bones and connective tissues benefit indirectly. Eggs provide protein for collagen and muscle tendon interfaces. If your breakfast used to be thin on protein, upgrading to 2 eggs strengthens the inputs that let your body maintain what it already has. Add a daily walk, light strength work for your hips and back, and time in daylight to support vitamin D, and you create a routine that your joints understand. Movement feels safer, so you move more. That feedback loop is pure longevity. Your weight management toolkit gets simpler. High-protein breakfasts have a well-documented effect on appetite regulation across the day. 2 eggs help you delay the first snack, choose a balanced lunch, and approach dinner calmly. Calm evenings change everything. You sleep better, your nighttime hunger quiets, and you wake with momentum instead of regret. Now let's be fair and address the questions that deserve honest answers. What about cholesterol and heart health? Bodies vary. Some people are hyper-responders, meaning their LDL cholesterol rises more than average with dietary cholesterol. Others see minimal changes or a neutral trade-off where HDL rises with no increase in LDL particle number. If you already know you're a hyper-responder, you can still enjoy eggs by focusing on cooking methods and overall patterns. Boil or poach instead of frying in butter. Pair eggs with fiber-rich vegetables and whole grains, and keep saturated fat from other sources modest. If you don't know your response, get your lipids checked, including ApoB or LDL particle number if available. Make decisions with data, not fear. For many older adults with balanced diets and active routines, 2 eggs fit comfortably without pushing risk. What about blood sugar and type 2 diabetes? Eggs themselves don't raise blood glucose, and the protein helps slow the response to other foods in the meal. The concern arises when eggs come packaged with refined breads and processed meats. If your plate is eggs, spinach, tomatoes, olive oil, and a small portion of whole grain or fruit, you're building a metabolically friendly breakfast. If your plate is eggs, white toast with jam, and sugary juice every morning, you're sending mixed signals. Keep it simple. Pair protein with color and fiber. What about the gut and TMAO, the molecule sometimes linked to cardiovascular risk? TMAO production depends heavily on your microbiome and on the total pattern of foods you eat. In practical terms, a diet rich in vegetables, legumes, and whole foods changes the microbial conversation. 2 eggs in that context are not the same as 2 eggs in a pattern dominated by ultra-processed products. Focus on the whole story, not a single character. What about the prostate and men's intimate comfort? While eggs aren't a direct therapy, the ripple effects of better muscle strength, steadier weight, improved metabolic health, and calmer inflammation all support the kind of internal environment that helps men feel at ease. Pair your 2 eggs with daily walking, gentle hip mobility, and smart hydration. More fluids earlier in the day, less close to bedtime, and you give your body conditions it knows how to use. Cooking method matters more than people think. High heat and charring create compounds you don't need. Boiled, poached, or gently scrambled over low heat, preserve nutrients and keep oxidation modest. If you scramble, use olive oil or avocado oil instead of butter when possible, and keep the heat low so the eggs stay tender. If you hard-boil, cool them promptly and store them safely in the fridge for simple, protein-forward snacks. If you enjoy a yolk that's soft, keep it warm and runny, but not raw. Raw egg whites contain avidin, which binds biotin, a B vitamin important for hair and skin. Cooking neutralizes this problem and improves safety. Food safety is non-negotiable. Buy from a reliable source, check dates, refrigerate promptly, cook until whites are opaque, and avoid cross-contamination in the kitchen. If you've ever had a compromised immune system, lean toward fully cooked preparations. If you have a history of gallstones and notice discomfort after eating eggs, talk to your clinician and adjust. Bodies send signals. Listen. Let's build a simple 4-week plan so you can experience these effects without guessing. In week 1, make breakfast boring on purpose. 2 eggs, a handful of leafy greens quickly wilted or raw on the side, and a piece of fruit like berries or half a grapefruit. Drink water first, coffee or tea after food. Notice your energy until lunch. If you're hungry mid-morning, add a small spoon of nut butter or a plain yogurt. Keep dinners lighter than lunches and take a 10-minute walk after your last meal. In week 2, keep the eggs and rotate the side. Add tomatoes with olive oil and herbs one day, sautéed mushrooms another, avocado slices, and lemon the next. If mobility allows, add 2 sets of 10 sit-to-stands from a chair every other day. That movement uses the amino acids you just ate, telling your muscles you're serious about keeping them. In week 3, start to place your eggs in other meals if breakfast is busy. An egg and vegetable bowl at lunch works well. Boil 4 to 6 eggs at the start of the week and store them for convenience. Track simple markers. How many steps you take daily, whether you can rise from a chair without using your hands, how many hours you stay focused without a nap. Improvement here is your best progress report. In week 4, adjust to your body. If 2 eggs feel heavy on certain mornings, shift 1 egg to lunch. If you're noticing stronger nails, steadier energy, and fewer cravings, write it down so your brain remembers. If your lipids are due, schedule a panel. Feedback closes the loop between effort and outcome. Here are 3 short stories to ground this in real life. Thomas, 67, used to skip breakfast, then crash at 11 a.m. He began eating 2 eggs with spinach at 7:30 and walking 15 minutes before lunch. Within 2 weeks, he noticed a quiet change. He was less irritable with small setbacks. Not because eggs changed his personality, but because steadier blood sugar and protein intake stabilized his mood. That stability made it easier to choose an evening walk instead of TV. The cycle turned in his favor. Amelia, 72, loves reading after breakfast, but her eyes felt tired by late afternoon. She added 2 eggs with tomatoes and olive oil most mornings, kept her evening light exposure gentle, and took brief outdoor walks for daylight. She didn't notice a miracle. She noticed she could read an extra chapter before her eyes asked for a break. Small wins stacked into a better month. Raul, 70, worried about cholesterol, but wanted stronger legs. He asked his clinician for a lipid panel, started 2 eggs a day, boiled or poached, and did 3 sets of 10 calf raises at the kitchen counter while the kettle boiled. His recheck showed HDL up, triglycerides down, LDL unchanged. More important, he walked upstairs with 1 hand on the railing instead of 2. He kept going because the result felt useful in daily life. A few refinements help you personalize. If your appetite is small, pair 2 eggs with 1 slice of whole grain toast and a thin layer of avocado or ricotta and fresh herbs. If mornings are hectic, batch cook an egg vegetable frittata on Sunday and slice it through the week. If you struggle with constipation, add a kiwi or a small dish of soaked chia seeds with your eggs, drink a glass of water right after waking, and walk 10 minutes before sitting down. If you're focused on weight loss, keep eggs, vegetables, and fruit central at breakfast and reduce refined starches at night. Let's talk about enjoyment, because longevity thrives when food brings pleasure without guilt. Buy the freshest eggs you can. Notice the color of the yolk, the way it spreads in the pan, the aroma when it's cooked slowly. Add a pinch of pepper, a sprinkle of herbs, a squeeze of lemon over greens, and a drizzle of olive oil. Eat at a table, not in the car. Put the phone away for 6 minutes. These details are not decoration. They train your nervous system to associate nourishment with safety and attention, which improves digestion and satisfaction. Now, who should be cautious or personalize more tightly? If you have familial hypercholesterolemia or a history of very high LDL or ApoB, coordinate this habit with your clinician and emphasize boiling or poaching, vegetables on the plate, and overall low saturated fat patterns. If you're on a very restricted diet for a medical condition, check compatibility. If you have an egg allergy, there is no workaround. Choose another protein such as Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, tofu scrambles, or a salmon portion. If you've been advised to limit dietary cholesterol for specific reasons, follow that guidance and revisit the plan when appropriate data say it's safe. If you decide to try 2 eggs a day after 60, the simplest way to evaluate success is to choose 3 everyday markers and observe them for a month. Can you rise from a chair without using your hands? Do you feel steady on stairs? Do you need a mid-morning snack, or can you comfortably wait until lunch? Does your evening vision feel a little less strained? These are the results that matter because they touch daily life. Write your answers down each week. Most people underestimate slow improvements because slow improvements are quiet. Your notebook will remind you what changed. Let me leave you with one sentence to carry in your pocket. When you give your body quality protein, essential nutrients, and calm routines, it answers with steadier strength, clearer focus, and a confidence you can feel in everyday moments. If this was helpful, choose one small action to start tomorrow. Set 2 eggs next to the skillet tonight, place a handful of greens in the fridge at eye level, and plan a 10-minute walk after your last meal. If you have a friend who's trying to feel better after 60, share these steps. And if you want more calm, practical guidance like this, subscribe so we can keep building a community that treats healthy aging with common sense and kindness.